From turnstile to turnstile, let's talk theme parks.
Welcome to Park Hopper Podcast. Welcome back to another episode. This is the Park Hopper Podcast. My name is Dominic Evco, and we're here with Peter, the man Brookhart. Peter, thank you for coming again and being on time today.
And you know what? For everybody listening, we all know Dom ratchets me about never being on time. Not only was I on time at 9:30 this morning for the recording, but I went to bed a measly 5 hours ago. If you do that math, that was 4:30 in the morning I went to bed.
Well, that is your fault, not mine. I'm
know.
responsible.
I know.
But we got a very exciting episode today. But before we get started, we got to do our typical housekeeping things. You can go ahead and email us at parkhopperpodcast@gmail.com and send us your theme park testimonials. Like we said every single week, those are a story that happened to you at a theme park that you just think is the coolest thing ever. Does not have to be Disney, doesn't have to be in the Orlando area, anywhere in the world that you would like us to read on our podcast. So please send us those. Also, you can go and follow Peter and Sarah on their Orlando adventure at the Brookhart Project on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, and Facebook, and Snapchat. And you can follow myself and my girlfriend Victoria on YouTube at Dom and Vic, and on Instagram at Dom and Vic Eats Detroit. Peter, that's all you know.
Thank you, Dom. I really appreciated that, and I'm gonna just throw a reminder out there that we have this cool thing called the Patreon, which is a website, and it's an exclusive little community of supporters that Dom and I have that help us bring the best content to you all. And what happens with this is through a small membership fee, you have access to special exclusive content. And our two biggest things about this are our I-4 Rambles, which are small mini podcasts about different topics. We've put up two so far, one about carousel progress. The other, this is the newer edition, is what's called a ride through Roundhouse, which is a video ride through of any attraction. But what happens is, instead of just listening to the audio from that ride, one of us, Dom or myself, will actually give commentaries explaining things about the ride, explaining our opinions, stories, personal, and from the attraction. This week we did our first one, and it was the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction, which was amazing because it was actually the new Pirates of the Caribbean. It recently reopened in Disney World with the new redhead scene, so I got to do a little commentary on what I think about that. And the other I-4 Rambles, I'm pulling up right now. So our I-4 Rambles, one of them being about the Carousel of Progress, because that's one of my favorite rides and Dom's absolute not favorite rides. And the other one being whether you should or should not buy a DVC. So quick little snippet of me talking about if it's a good or bad idea for you to purchase into Disney Vacation Club timeshare ownership. But today, I feel like this is going to be a short and sweet one, but by sweet, I mean super so sweet. Because this is something Dom and I are both so passionate, happy, and involved in.
Yes, that is true. And that is our top 5 favorite pools at the Walt Disney World Resort. Dun, dun, dun. I'm
too excited. I'm too excited. I'm getting right in. My number 5.
Yeah, go
and
for
this
it.
is I actually didn't know this pool was called this until I looked it up before we started recording. The Luna Park Pool at Disney's Boardwalk Resort. This is the pool, if you've ever stayed at the Boardwalk or been there, that has the big crazy clown face slide. That you go down the slide and you come through the clown's face.
Yes. It's also a scary pool if you ask me, because I'm not a huge fan of clowns.
Oh, see, I know a lot of people think that, but have you been on the slide?
I've not been on the slide. I've been to the pool.
The slide is amazing. It looks like every other small resort slide. Like, it's a little thing more so for kids. It's cool. No, this thing, first of all, the entire area fits so perfectly into the boardwalk's theming. It's not just a hole with water in it. It's perfectly immersed into like the carousel aspect of a boardwalk scenery. But this slide, I went on for the first time, and I thought I lost my mind. It is so fast. To the point where it does have one of the red light, green light automated things that make sure that the next guest doesn't go down the slide until the first guest is out of the way because it's a serious slide.
Really?
Yeah.
That's news to me because I did not know that. Well, that is a great first choice, Peter. I'm very proud of you.
And they got a big, nice poolside bar with good food options and good drinks.
Ooh, that's always important. Always important.
Always.
For me, I kind of had a hard time making up a list because when it comes to pools, I don't think just the pool. I think the outside areas of the pool. I mean, obviously the pool itself is important, but a pool's a pool. It's what are you being offered around the pool. So that's kind of what I took into play when I made my list. And for my number 5, the reason this made my list is yes, I think the pool's cool, but I also think the landscaping around this pool and the landscaping around this resort really makes the pool. And you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but that is the pool at Coronado Springs.
I think there's multiple at these resorts.
The main one.
Is
the
it
main
the
pool.
the main one with
With the-
the cast with the
Yes,
pyramid?
yes, that's the one I'm talking about.
I do like it a lot.
And the reason I had a hard, because I said like a pool's a pool, but I think this pool doesn't. It has a very distinct look to it. The resort has a very distinct look to it, and that outside landscaping around there with the the pyramid Aztec looking thing. I think it's very very cool, and you can't get that anywhere else on Disney property, and that's why I have that as number 5 on my list.
They have a cool playground right next to it on
Yes,
top of
they
a
do.
nice poolside bar there too.
And it's right by a massive lake.
Yes, it's gorgeous. It's a Coronado Springs for anybody who aren't familiar with it. It's one of the bigger convention resorts, so everything is kind of like stepped up in quantity and scale, and it was very well done. It has still a Disney feel, but I feel like it's got a little bit of a different Disney feel than the
Right.
other resorts because of the theming and because of the convention aspect of it. But before I digress, number 4 for me. Now I already asked Dom help with figuring out which one this was, so he's not going to be surprised. But I feel like he may have been surprised if I came in cold with this. But my number 4 is the All Star Music Resort main pool with 3 Caballeros in the middle of it.
Yes.
I love this pool.
It's a very nice pool. It's very themed well for kids, and I feel like all
Yes.
those all-star Valley resorts are very because you got those big, over-the-top characters throughout the pools and the resorts. So those are very nice, especially if you have young kids because it's something to look at.
During the hurricane when we had our cousins here, we spent probably 3 hours in that pool. Me and Sarah with the cousins, which were 3 little ones playing around in the pool, and that one's got great music because it's All Star Music.
Right.
It's big and it's got a cool shape with a statue in the middle of the 3 Caballeros, and they're spraying water everywhere. It's just a fun big pool, and I know those All Star pools and value resort pools can get crowded and tight, but like this one, I've never seen it like too crazy and too busy. You can always stake out your spot of the pool. They've got another important thing. They got a nice poolside bar. The menu there, I think, is not as fancy as like say the boardwalks or some of the other resorts. It's
Right.
more typical quick service stuff, but still good service. And they have a lot of I feel like for some reason All Star Music is one of the All Stars that always has a lot of like recreational things going on. Giant tic tac for bean bags. There's so many of those
Yeah.
games going on.
Hula hoops.
Hula hoops, a lot's I feel like always going on there. So on top of the pool, you've got good bar for the adults, and you've got a lot of events for the kids who are sick of swimming or don't want to swim. Just a good time.
Yeah, well, that is a great option, and I actually do love that pool myself. It did not make my list, but I think it's a very good option, especially if you have kids. My number 4, like I said, I think the pool is very nice, but you also have to look at the landscaping in and around the pool. And mine is coming from Peter's favorite hotel, and that is the Wilderness Lodge pool.
That's my boy.
I think
My
it's a very
favorite.
cool pool. They just kind of redid the whole entire area, if I'm not mistaken. Kind of, yes, no.
So they recently redid the DVC pool in section. They've done portions of the main pool because there's now the old poolside bar is now a spa, but the actual pool was not affected by the main pool was not affected by any of those refurbs.
So they got the the geysers with the little streams. I think that's a very nice touch. I think being in the pool and looking at the actual hotel, being surrounded by it, being able to have that lodgy feel, it does that very nicely. You're right by the water. You have, I mean, if you're there at night, you can see the fireworks from that pool. So there's a lot of great options, and they have one of your favorite new restaurant locations right by it, and Geyser Point, right? Did I say that right?
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Have you not been there yet?
I haven't been there, but I've heard
How
good
did
things.
we? I'm literally upset at us right now. How
You-
did
'cause
we?
you
How
did
did we
mention-
not go to Geyser Point when you were here?
We just didn't have time. I know. When would we have fit it in?
I don't know, but how did we not?
Yeah, I know. It
How did
sucks.
we not?
But that's just another excuse to go back.
I can give you 1.3 trillion excuses to come back, and I will, but just not right now. We have more important things to do, like talk about my number 3. And I love your number 4. I love that pool.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna sneak peek. It's on my list. It is.
Okay.
But my number 3. Now this may surprise you, Dom, but I've mentioned it in past vlogs. And I think even once or twice in this podcast before. My number 3 is at Port Orleans Riverside, Old Man Island Swimming Pool,
I knew
or
that
as
would be on
Sarah
the
and her
list.
sisters would call it growing up, Old Man Swimming Hole. This pool is, first of all, massive. Second of all, Dom over here, Mr. Theming, talk about theming. This thing is one of the most detailed themed pools, especially when you consider that it's literally on an island. In this resort, you walk from the main building across a bridge to an island where the only thing on this island is a pool, bathrooms, a bar, and a play area. Then you have to walk off the island to go back to the resorts. It's an island just for the pool.
I haven't been. I've stayed at Port Orleans, and I haven't been at that pool though.
It's a super nice pool because it's got not all the pools go down to the 4 foot 8
Yeah.
at points, and this one does have a portion that goes to 4 foot 8. It's just really nice. They have great children's activities, and because it's for one of the resorts that's been around for a few decades, the trees, like you want to be able to for a pool to lay out and get good sun, get your bronze on, but you also want to be able to relax. And in Florida heat, sometimes you need to lay out in the shade. And they've got portions of this around this pool that are covered in shade from natural trees, which are great. The
That's
poolside bar is awesome. It's the place where I first had the lava smoothie that we talk about all the time, which is a non-alcoholic pina colada or pina colada with a raspberry puree.
Which I still haven't had.
Are you trying to like frustrate me today?
That's my goal. That's my goal when I woke up.
All right, go ahead with your next one. Old Man Swimming Pool rocks.
So my number 3 is another one that I think, like Wilderness Lodge, is the area that it's in, and this is my favorite hotel, and that's the pool at the Poly. This pool is a great pool. They got a slide. They just refurbed that whole entire area. It's right next to Trader Sam's. Grab a drink right there. You can see the castle from sitting in the pool. So perfect view for fireworks. And the pool's great. And I know you had a story where there's a snake, I believe, when you were there. Or maybe there's Chelsea. Chelsea, I think,
Yeah.
said there's a snake in the pool.
Sounds
She's
like
in there.
Chelsea's story.
But it's just a great pool, and I love the ambiance of the area. Seven Seas Lagoon's right there, and it's just a great time. I like that Hawaiian feel that it gives, and it does that very nicely.
I give everything you said props and I agree, but I don't think this pool is good.
Well, that's your opinion.
Right. But like, what I want to explain is like, you're 100% right. The area, the theming, everything that's offered around it, even the pool itself is like it has a 0 entry on one side, but I think the slide is not the longest or biggest. The pool is not the biggest. It's got a cool waterfall.
No,
But
it is
really,
small.
For me, I like it because of what's all around it. But like the actual aspect of the pool, there's a reason why that you have to be staying at that resort to get into that pool with your Magic Band. It's not one of the freely open ones like most of the Disney pools. If you're staying on property, you can go to whatever pools except for a handful. And I think that's good reason because it is so small, and then people who are staying there. I think if 15% of the guests staying at Polynesian at one time were at the pool, it would be a ridiculously crowded pool. But that's my only qualm about it. Besides that, you are right. The theming is literally perfect. The little nuances, the little touches to it are perfect. It's got a huge hot tub. Props to them, and it's cool. The theming of that is even cool because it's not just on the side of the pool; it's up these stairs around this rock formation, like a little secluded area.
Right.
But I like it a lot. I knew that was gonna be on your list. I just didn't know where.
And it's not like I said. For me, I think when we think of pools, me and you have a different perspective from it, where you look at the actual pool, which I do take into account, which you'll see that on my list at some point. But I think you're getting wet no matter what. What does the area around you, the sights and the sounds, those are very important to me. Where I
Alright,
think
I
the
dig
actual
it.
pool structure is important to you.
Now they have redone the Polynesian pool in the past couple of years, so I have confessed that I've never actually been in the newly refurbed one. And just like my number two, I've also never been in number two, but just for pure facts, I know it deserves to be where it deserves to be on my list. And that is the Stormalong Bay at the Yacht and Beach Club. This is like infamously known as the best pool in Disney World, and I've heard some people say it's the best swimming pool like in any resort ever. Now, why? It's because it's the largest pool in Disney World. It is the one of the most extensively themed, especially when you take into account that there's white sand on the bottom of this pool. It's got the most ridiculous slide that goes, it looks like it's like 20 feet in the air, 20, 30 feet in the air, from a ship across a walking path into the pool. Great poolside bar, great theming during the day, great theming at night, and the thing is massive. The thing is absolutely huge, and I think it's one of the deeper pools at points. There's great videos on YouTube about it. I've never actually gone swimming there because even before Magic Bands were a thing, this was the OG pool that you could not go swimming in unless you were staying there. They give out paper wristbands at certain times of the year to prove that you're staying at the Yacht and Beach Club. So if anybody sees you in there, you have to have one of those wristbands on, not just a Magic Band.
Right. It's a great pool, and not to mention that it's right by Beaches and Cream, so grab a nice little ice cream cone and sit by the pool. It is.
They got a mean grilled cheese.
They do.
At Beaches and Cream.
Tomato soup.
Ooh.
It's
Dip a little bit of your grilled cheese in that tomato soup. Call it a day.
That was a great choice.
Thanks.
I really like that choice.
What's your number two?
My number two. So I'm just gonna say my twos and one, and then I'll let you go into one.
Yeah.
My number two is a pool that, again, theming is key, and I think is a great pool. As kind of what you like is the pool itself is great, and that is Animal Kingdom's Lodge's pool. That is a pool that I've stayed at, been in. It's got a great slide. It's got two great hot tubs that are very secluded over there. The pool is huge. It's a walk-in pool. I like the area that it's in. A great pool bar. You're right by the savannah right there, and just overall, it's a really, really good pool. It's huge too.
It's one of my favorites. If we broke this list into our top 5 favorite at night, top 5 favorite at day, it'd probably be one of my top 5 favorite at night. Yeah. I agree. It's a good pool. It was hard. It was going to be on my list, but I took it away. But I put it back, and I took it away. But I love that pool.
And if you put into account my favorite hotels from our previous episode and my favorite pools, a lot of them go hand in hand. And
yeah, and that's I feel like for both of us, I feel like that's a big portion of our. I think Riverside was on my list. My number one was on my list. Boardwalk, I think, was on my list or close to my list. So I'd agree. Like the pool is a big portion of your resort experience because if you are not just looking at your resort for a bed to stay in, and when you're done with the parks, the first thing you're going to think about for a resort is either the pool or spa, and most people it's going to be the pool.
Right, exactly. And for my number one, I won't get into great detail because Peter already mentioned it, and that is the pool at the Yacht and Beach Club. No surprise there. I love that pool, the sand. You got the huge pirate ship. Beaches and Cream is right by there. It's right on the boardwalk, which is one of my favorite places in all of Disney. So that was my number one, the Beach Club, but we already kind of talked about that, so I won't get into it, but I will have an honorable mention after you say number one that I think a lot of people might be shocked by.
Ooh, I'm intrigued, but I will say, for us to actually go to that pool, I think I'm gonna try. For some of the Dopey Challenge weekend, the marathon weekend in January in Walt Disney World, which I'll be running, I don't think we're gonna stay in a resort all 4 nights, But I think that weekend, like check in Friday and check out Monday, we might try to stay in a resort. And I think I'm gonna try to get beach club, Yacht or beach club, so we can have access to that pool. And
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm gonna take off work for those days. So like on Thursday or on Friday when I run that the 10K, which should be easier to run by at that point, can just hang out by the pool or whatever. And then same thing like on Saturday when we do the half marathon, and I'm done with that. I want to relax in a nice resort, get a nice pool action on, get the Storm Along band. But my number one, we have talked about already, and I'm just going to throw in one little detail because I can talk about this resort and this pool all day long. And it was Dom's other choice, and it is the pool at Wilderness Lodge. So we won't go into great detail because we already talked about it. But one thing I want to visualize for you is this is the aspect of this pool that sets it apart for me from every other pool and every other resort, and it is that stream that Dom talked about. Now this is a little bubble, a little burp, a little flood. The smallest geyser is burst through the floorboards in the lobby. Now this geyser doesn't blow water 30 feet in the air. It doesn't scream with all the hot steam coming through. It just trickles this water up out of the floorboards of the Wilderness Lodge. And it turns into a stream that then leaves the inside the building through the lobby, exits the building, going towards Bay Lake. Then that stream turns into a river. That river flows into the pool, which is my favorite part because you can literally relax on this one part of the pool and have the water streaming over your shoulders into the pool. And then the pool gets so full from this river that it overflows into a different stream at the other side of the pool, and that stream exits the pool and goes straight into Bay Lake. I love that stream. It's the winner for me. I love that pool. There's a slide. There's a stream. There's a great kids side. It's like the shape of a horseshoe. One side's super deep. One side is more kid friendly. It's the best.
That stream is just
my favorite.
Something about it.
It's my favorite.
Now, Peter, do you have a honorable mention at all?
Yeah, the Grand Floridian pool by the DVC wing where they've got the really nice poolside bar with a unique menu, and they have a giant waterfall and a decent slide, but small. It's a very small pool, but I always enjoy myself whenever we get a chance to go partake in that pool.
Awesome. That's a great choice. And mine is one that I think would be on my list, but because it's not technically a Disney hotel,
Here we go.
it is on Disney property, and that would be the pool at the Swan and Dolphin Resort. Never been in the pool. Have walked past it many times. This pool, I could argue that this pool could be number one if it was technically considered a Disney pool, because it is massive. Have you seen this pool?
I don't think so.
Oh, you have to go by. I'm telling you, you have to go by it. It's got a huge grotto-looking area. It is massive. And Peter, this pool, for those of you that have been to Las Vegas, this pool definitely reminds me of a Las Vegas style pool, which everybody knows are huge and grand and luxurious. And this definitely does have a luxurious feel to it. I'm not saying no Disney hotel pool doesn't have that, but it's a different type of luxury that I think this pool offers.
I dig it. I'll have to walk by there. I might be ending up at the boardwalk later with some friends, so maybe we'll walk by, take a little walk over and check it out.
I'm serious. If you do, you'll be amazed. I think it might even be better than the one at the beach club. I'm being dead serious.
Wow, that's
people,
a tall order.
I hope you go over there today. I really do. It's awesome. It's in the very back, by the mini golf.
I'll let you know, and I'll take a photo and send it your way because how cold is it in the Great White Arctic?
It's supposed to be in the 40s today, but
nice.
For those, this is Saturday. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be excited because the Michigan Wolverines will win tonight and hopefully be headed to another Final Four in the NCAA tournament.
Exciting. I don't do it sports. I do Mickey Mouse and theme parks.
I would sing the Michigan fight song, but I will save people the headache.
Here's something that's best of both worlds for both of us. Before we head out for the day, we're gonna throw a little thing out there. They had team member previews of Voodoo Donuts at City Walk the other day.
Oh, did they?
We walked past there after we saw the movie, and it looks pretty much done. There's even stuff in the cat, like in the displays, but not all of them. So we should be seeing soft openings probably the next week or two for Voodoo because they haven't like given a firm date. They just keep saying spring.
Right.
Well, spring has sprung here. It's official now in Florida, and they have Voodoo Donuts. If you've ever seen it or if you haven't, look it up online. Looks like a great. It's gonna be a great addition to City Walk and very cool.
That sounds incredible, and I can't wait to come back to try them.
Definitely, but let us know down below with some of your favorite pools, or if you disagree with all of Dom's list because it was stupid,
Right.
or if you love my list because it was the best. But just let us know down below. We love hearing from you all.
Right. And again, don't forget to email us at parkhopperpodcast@gmail.com to send us your theme park testimonials. Make sure to follow Peter and Sarah Brookhart at the Brookhart Project on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitch, MySpace.
Don't have a Twitch. Not yet, at least.
All of the above. And don't forget you got a MySpace?
No, not for the Brookhart Project. Peter Brookhart's still on MySpace, but I don't know the last time I touched it.
Mine is too, and I think when you go onto my MySpace, if you can somehow find that, has Ballin' playing as my theme song.
Oh, the good old days.
And don't forget what?
That's the good old days. Now MySpace is all about bands. Like it's a way for your band to have.
It's still around?
Page. Yeah, bands use it. It's like exclusively for music now.
Really?
Yeah.
I couldn't even get on mine if I wanted to. But you can also go follow me and my girlfriend Victoria at Dom and Vic on YouTube and on Instagram at Dom and Vic Eats Detroit. So make sure to go check all of us out there. Make sure to subscribe to all our stuff. Comment, like what you want us to see us do next. Until next time, my name is Dominic Evko. This is Peter Brookhart. And that was another episode of the Park Hopper Podcast.